Alright, people. As you can see, I have the transmission out finally. I didn't lie again and make some other videos since the last one. Getting it out was not as easy as it might seem. The car was not lifted up enough, so we couldn't use the jack to bring it out. We had to lower it down immediately onto the floor with the jack, and then put a few boards as like kind of set up like that, and kind of a ladder, a slide kind of a motion. So once we took the jack out from underneath the boards, we just sort of slid the transmission down onto a mat and that cardboard over there, and just slid the cardboard out from under the car, and then carried the transmission all the way around to right here. And as you can see, I've already gotten into taking it a bit apart, because once again, I don't have a second person to film this while I do it. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it, film it after I've already done everything, which kind of defeats the purpose of a how-to video, but I'm going to try to explain it the best that I can. Number one, when you take off the torque converter, you want to pull it straight off. There's a bit of like sort of play at the end of this here. Kind of moves in and out a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. It's probably a little bit too... Oh, yeah, you can see it. Kind of moves in and out, so you just want to grab the bottom of the torque converter and go like this until it gets loose enough to pull straight off. Don't pry it. Don't do anything like that, because that can bend this, and then you're really in trouble. A torque converter itself weighs probably about 50 pounds. It's a lot heavier than it looks, and it's also full of fluid. See, there's fluid down in there. And you can try to drain that if you want, but I decided I'm just not going to mess with it right now. So that's the torque converter. And as you can also see on my little cardboard station here, draining the transmission was a bit of a struggle. There was really no good way to do it, so I just angled the cardboard like that and tipped the transmission upside down, and all the transmission fluid just slid down into the pan. So I guess that's okay. First thing you're going to want to do after you drain it and after you take the torque converter off, so I guess the third thing you want to do, is take the overdrive solenoid out. This, or servo, sorry. This servo is going to be held in by a snap ring that looks like this. If you're lucky, you'll get one with two nubs on the end, and you can take it out within a couple minutes after trying. But if you're unlucky like me, you'll get this, and this is actually the factory servo clip. And what you're going to want to do is it's going to be sitting in here. So there's two gaps on there, one right there, one right there. This is going to be sitting in here like this. And you're going to want to take a hammer and a screwdriver and hit one of these ends until this rotates all the way around to where the openings match up there. So it'd be like about like that. Next thing you want to do is take a block of wood and put it right in the center of the servo and smack it with a hammer a couple times. It loosens it. And then you stick a screwdriver right there, or right there, wherever your gap is, so it goes underneath the end of one of the rings, and you bang that with a screwdriver. That's going to cause the end of the snap ring to pop up like that. And then you take a pliers and bend the snap ring so it goes around the outside like that. And then you take a hammer to the other side and screwdriver and bang it out a bunch of times until your snap ring just sort of uncorks itself. You can reuse this. It doesn't hurt it at all. I'm probably going to reuse it if a new one doesn't come in the rebuild kit. But after you get that off, you're going to want to take your servo out. This here is what it looks like. And it's going to sit in there just like that, but it's going to be flush with it, obviously. This one's very clearly never been out. It was rusted in there, and I had to use these two gaps with a screwdriver. Stick a small screwdriver in there, stick a medium screwdriver in there, tap on them both until the ends came up, and then swap them out. Get a big screwdriver there and get a super big screwdriver there and do the same thing, and eventually it'll pop right out. And when you pull it out, first thing is going to come off is this cap here is going to come off. So it's going to do this. If I can do this with one hand, it's going to be quite difficult, I think. Just a minute. Alright, there we go. That cap comes off like that, and then you're going to be looking at something like this. The next thing that comes off after that is this whole piece here, and it has two rubber bands in between the deals on that, and that just lifts right off of that shaft there, that middle shaft. Once again, this is going to be, oh, there it goes, okay. Take that off, and that falls like that, and then you're going to be looking at this. And this is the same deal. One of these has a band here on the end of it, and you're gonna take off that, shiny round thing, and that spring is gonna come with it. It's gonna come off just like that, and then you grab this shaft and pull this out, and with it comes another spring underneath it, and that's all gonna pull out of this hole here and come out just like that. And this is where the overdrive, this thing here, gets fluid pressure behind it and pushes. You can't see it on camera, but there's like this thing moves on here, and it pushes this into that hole there, which pushes the overdrive band, so it activates and the overdrive kicks in. And as you can see, there's metal flakes at the bottom of my transmission servo housing. So that is the first step of the 204R transmission, is the overdrive servo. Make sure you keep all these parts in one singular bag, and I'm going to try to put it all together the way that it was when I started this video so that I know how it goes back together. So see you in the next part.